What is going on, guys, and welcome back to Baker's DIY Lifestyle. So it is that beautiful time again where we get to get out in the yard and start our fall lawn care. So we're going to be doing our dethatching, our aeration, our seed throwing, our fertilization, and waiting for the beautiful baby grasses to start growing. And honestly, I'm super excited for this year because this is the first year since our son's been born that I've really been able to take the time to get in the yard and really just completely tear it down and redo it the way it should have been done from the get-go. And I'm gonna hopefully get all the bare spots filled in, get all of the rough spots that I've been staring at for the past couple years that I'm not real happy about fixed up. And hopefully next year we will have a pristine lawn all the way through the year. But for this year, this is going to be the first time that I've ever actually used a dethatcher, and honestly it's because I've never had one and I've never really taken my lawn care to this level. So I'm really excited to get out there and use it to really break up some of that old matted down grass that has just been caked all over the yard for the entire year. Get it all ripped up, get the yard clean. That way when I get my aerator on the surface and really break it up, the seeds have a perfect place to land and start growing. So you can see right here, the first thing I did was mow, and I took the yard down to 3 inches with the zero turn. And then my buddy Tristan here is riding the tractor with the dethatcher on the back. So he's going around and really just tearing up the grass. I told him just to do figure eights when he got close to the end. Just make sure he ran over the rough spots as much as possible. And then in here in just a second, you will see us flip back and I will get the bagger attachment on the tractor and go ahead and suck all that stuff up. Because ultimately, when you are throwing grass seed, the worst possible thing that could happen is for you to throw your grass seed into a pile of grass or under a tree that is dropping leaves. Anything that could smother that grass seed out so that it does not have the proper water and proper sunlight in order to start growing. So right here you can see we've got the bagger on the tractor now, and I'm just going to make my laps until I get the yard completely cleaned up. And with this one, it mows on a setting 3 at about 2.5 inches. So I am taking it down even farther before I throw my seed, which again, that's really just so your old grass doesn't compete with your new seed. Because the more air, the more sunlight, and the more water you can get to that seed, and the more space you can give it to grow, the better it is ultimately going to do. Alright guys, so I just want to pause right here and talk about what our next steps are. So at this point, we've got the front yard completely mowed, dethatched, and bagged. And what we're going to start doing now is Tristan's going to start digging some dirt, some of the leftover dirt that we had from when we installed our pool in the backyard. And he's going to take that dirt and bring it right here to this center section in the yard. And the reason we're doing that is because when we moved into the house, we had a huge pin oak tree right here that we took out. And this section of ground has been just a little bit lower than the rest of the yard. And that's part of the reason why you can see how matted down and just brown this section is right here. So we're going to go ahead and get some dirt in here and try to level it out a little bit with the rest of the yard. And hopefully next year that'll keep the water from puddling up and I won't have to worry about it just matting down the grass right here. So that's kind of our plan of attack. He's going to start moving some dirt. I still have to bag the backyard. So I'm going to start working on that now and then we'll see how far we get. Alright, so welcome to our big pile of dirt that we had left over from when we put the pool in. And that video has not come out yet, but when it does, I will put a card at the top of the screen so you can check that out if you want to see how to install one of these above ground pools and the steps that we took to get that thing in. But this dirt I've just kind of let sit all summer long while we had the pool because I knew I was going to be using it to fill in some of the low spots in my yard, because there are a bunch of spots where the previous owner took out some trees, I moved some trees, and then of course the big pin oak tree, which is the biggest problem. I wanted to use this dirt to fill it in. So you can see right here is where the pin oak originally was, and this is going to be something that I'm probably going to have to do every year for the next, I don't know, 2 or 3 years, maybe more, just because as the roots of that tree decay, this area is always going to be a little bit lower and a little bit bumpier than the rest of the yard. But luckily I'll have some dirt here and I've got dirt in other places that I can just transplant into that, and hopefully we won't have too much to worry about. So one thing I do want to talk about, which is something I did not do with this dirt, but something that you could do, is go ahead and spray some tenacity on this stuff. Because since it's been sitting for so long, there's probably some weed seeds. I know that I had some Bermuda starting to kick in. And honestly, I don't know where the Bermuda came from, because I double sprayed my yard a few years ago. I got rid of all the Bermuda, but that stuff just seems to find a way to appear out of nowhere. So there's little piles of Bermuda that I gotta have to watch out for. I'm gonna have to spray it down, and most likely just moving some of those roots from the Bermuda, it's gonna allow it to start growing in the front yard again. So I'm gonna do my best to get that fescue growing, get it tight, and that way the Bermuda hopefully will not come up wherever I put this dirt next year. But you can see here's just some more spots, just a few low spots that have been in the yard since I've moved in. And this little area right here is kind of a spot where the rain washes down the middle of the yard. So I'm gonna try to fill that in and level it back out. But ultimately my goal is to get this Kentucky bluegrass in the backyard down close to 1 inch, maybe 1.5 inches, because I don't have a mower that will go much lower than that. But I'm gonna take that zero turn as low as I can get it next year and really just keep the Kentucky bluegrass nice and tight so that the kids and the dog have a nice place to run around. They don't have to worry about getting grass all in their shoes like they would if they were running through my super tall turf type tall fescue. But I'm just going to go ahead and keep going through this. You're going to see us continue to fill in these spots, level them out, and then after that we will finish up the video. Alright guys, so that is it for this video. I did not get to aerating and fertilizing and seeding just yet today. And honestly, it's because I don't have my seed for the backyard yet. I usually order everything through GCI Turf, but sadly his Kentucky bluegrass has been flying off the shelf and there was none in stock. So I ended up going through Ryan Knorr, who's also a YouTuber, and I'm sure if you watch any of the grass YouTube videos, you know exactly who Pete and Ryan are. So I'm interested to try out Ryan's Kentucky bluegrass in the backyard, and I'm excited for it to get here. It does kind of stink because it's supposed to rain tonight. It's supposed to rain in 2 days on Saturday. There's a 50% chance Sunday. So I'm missing all of this natural rain that would get the seed up and going, but that's okay. That's just kind of how it goes when you're trying to do something with the weather. So you can see we got this big old spot leveled out. We got all of those spots leveled out where we dug out the trees when we put our pool in. We got the spot in the front yard leveled out. So overall, the yard's in pretty good shape. I'm ready to go ahead and aerate it, and it'll be good anyway because it'll rain, soften up the dirt, and then when I aerate and overseed, hopefully Monday or Tuesday is when the seed is supposed to come in. I'll be able to get some really good plugs out of the yard, really tear it up again, throw everything down, and we'll be smooth sailing hopefully in the winter. But with that, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you are interested in more of this yard or do-it-yourself and how-to content that we put out on the channel, please be sure to hit that subscribe button and follow along as we continue to do all these projects. With that, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.